All right, listeners, welcome back for another deep dive with yours truly,
You're
and
glad to be back.
always a pleasure.
Yeah.
So today we're looking ahead to a Premier League match this weekend, and this one is really interesting. It's Ipswich Town hosting Brighton and Hove Albion, and you know, on the surface, you're looking at it and thinking, okay, you got a team near the bottom of the table hosting a team,
Yeah.
kind of in the top half of the table.
Right.
But there's a lot more to this matchup than meets the eye when you start looking at, some of the recent form and some of the
Yeah.
historical context and all that.
Absolutely. And it's not a fixture we see very often either.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those fascinating things about this. These two clubs have not met in the top flight of English football since 1983.
1983.
So think about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's like
A long
before you and I were even,
before we were born.
yeah, before we were even a twinkle in our parents' eyes, I think.
Yeah.
So, we've got Ipswich Town. Obviously, they came up from the championship last season.
Right.
They're really fighting for survival now.
Yeah.
And then you've got Brighton, who, I think it's safe to say have really established themselves as a Premier League club.
Absolutely. They're having a great season and could even qualify for European competition next year.
Yeah. So you've got these two teams kind of at opposite ends of the, where they want to be in the table.
Yeah.
But this matchup is closer than you might think.
Right. And there's a lot of history between these two clubs, even if they haven't played each other in the Premier League for a very long time.
Right. So let's start with Ipswich. I mean, their form recently hasn't been terrible.
It's been a mixed bag, really. They've had a couple of good wins recently, but their overall record, especially at home, is concerning.
Right. They've won 2 of their last 5.
Yeah.
But they've only won once at home
Ooh,
all season.
that's not good. You really need to make your home ground a fortress if you want to stay up.
You would think, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
home field advantage 101.
Exactly, but for some reason, Portman Road hasn't been kind to them this season.
It really hasn't. And to add to that, they haven't won back-to-back home games in the Premier League since 2002.
Wow. So they're really facing an uphill battle here.
Yeah.
Especially against a team like Brighton.
Yeah, but you mentioned those 2 wins in their last 5. One of those was at home against Everton last weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe that's a sign that things are starting to turn around for them. Maybe they've figured something out at home.
It's possible that win against Everton could be a real confidence booster. But the key is, can they back it up with another strong performance?
Yeah.
Consistency is what they need.
Well, and that brings us to Brighton. Brighton has been, I would say pretty consistent. They're undefeated in their last 6 Premier League matches, but they've drawn 4 of them.
Yeah, it's a strange run they're on. On the one hand, they're not losing, which is good. But on the other hand, they're not winning either, which means they're not climbing the table as quickly as they could be.
Yeah, so it's kind of like they're stuck in this.
In limbo a bit, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And are they playing well enough to, to deserve to win some of these matches, or are they just kind of holding on and...
Well, I think it's a bit of both. They've certainly had some good performances in that run, but they've also been a bit fortunate at times.
Okay.
They're definitely a tough team to beat, though, which is something Ipswich will need to be wary of.
Yeah, and I'm looking back, right before this run of 6 undefeated, they actually lost to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
But then right before that, they beat Norwich.
Right, a good win against their local rivals.
Yeah, and that was in the FA Cup.
So they're still in that competition as well.
Yeah, so they're still competing on multiple fronts.
Which could be a factor in this match, especially if they decide to rotate their squad.
Yeah, you got to think about, fatigue and all that kind of stuff when
exactly.
when you're playing that many matches.
But that win against Norwich shows they can score goals,
Yeah.
and they'll be looking to do the same against Ipswich.
Right. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really interesting. Brighton has struggled against teams in the bottom 4 this season.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a surprise. You'd expect them to be able to beat the teams lower down the table, but they've drawn all 4 of those matches.
Yeah, so all 4 matches against the current bottom 4
Correct.
have been draws. So that's a bit of a head scratcher.
It is. It suggests they might struggle against teams that sit back and defend deep, which is something Ipswich might try to do in this match.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is Brighton has drawn a lot of their matches this season.
Yeah, they've had 6 draws in their last 10 league games.
So another draw in this match would be their 5th draw in a row in the league.
Which is quite unusual.
It is, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't remember the last time I saw a team with a a string of draws that long.
It doesn't happen very often, so that's something else to consider. Are they going to try and go for the win and risk losing, or will they be happy to take another draw?
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how they approach this match, given all that,
Absolutely.
given all that context.
And it's worth noting that Brighton has led at halftime in more away games than any other team this season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So they tend to start strong on the road, which could put Ipswich under pressure early on.
Yeah, if Ipswich goes down a goal or two early in this match, it really puts a lot of pressure on them
Absolutely.
to come back. And we've seen that they struggle at home. So,
Exactly. It could
yeah.
be a long afternoon for them if they don't start well.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some players to watch because I think, both of these teams have some
Definitely.
players who could really make a difference in this match.
Yeah.
For
Right.
Ipswich, I'm looking at Sammy Smotics.
Yeah, he's been their main goal threat.
Yeah, he scored all 4 of their goals this season.
All 4 of them.
All 4 of their Premier League goals this season
Okay.
have come from Sammy Smotics.
That's impressive.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
All 4 of those goals have come in the first half.
Interesting.
And all 4 of those goals have come away from home.
Oh, wow. That's a strange one. So he hasn't scored at home at all this season.
Not in the Premier League, no.
Huh. I wonder what that's about. Maybe he just feels more comfortable on the road.
Yeah, maybe he's just, not feeling the pressure as much when he's...
Yeah, on the
Yeah,
road.
yeah.
Maybe being away from the home crowd helps him relax a bit more.
Yeah, who knows? But, that's definitely something to watch because, if he does manage to score in this match, will it come in the first half? Will it be,
Right.
his first goal at home? All those kinds of things.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can break that pattern.
Yeah, and Brighton?
Well, they've got a few players who could cause Ipswich problems. But the one who stands out to me is Jorginho Rutter.
Okay.
He's in great form right now. He scored twice against Norwich in the FA Cup and seems to have really settled in at Brighton.
So he's found his form.
Yeah, he looks really dangerous at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also got a good record at Portman Road. He scored there last season when he was playing for Leeds.
Oh, wow. So he's kind of got like a...
Yeah.
He's familiar with the...
Yeah, he's been there, done that.
Yeah.
So that could give him an edge.
Okay, so we've got Ipswich. They're desperate. They're fighting for their lives,
Yeah.
essentially, at this point in the season. They're at home, but they don't have a good home record.
Right.
They're coming off a win, so maybe they have some momentum, but,
Yeah.
historically they don't do well at Portman Road.
Yeah.
And then you've got Brighton, playing well,
Yeah.
unbeaten in 6.
Yeah.
But a lot of draws.
Right.
Tend to start matches well, especially away from home.
Yeah, they come out of the gates quickly.
Yeah. But they have struggled against the teams at the bottom of the table.
True. So it's not a foregone conclusion by any means.
Right. So what do you think? What are we going to see in this match?
Well, I think it's going to be a really tight game. Both teams have a lot to play for, and I think they'll both be up for it. It could be a cagey affair with both teams trying to avoid mistakes. But I also think there's potential for a lot of goals. Both teams have players who can hurt you, and I think we could see a really exciting match.
Okay, so you're saying it could go either way.
Yeah, I think it's too close to call. It really could go either way. It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, well, listeners, we would love to hear your predictions for this match. Let us know what you think is going to happen. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will be back next week with another deep dive.
See you then.
See ya.